Okay. After a slight issue, getting back up, but we are here, we are active, we are ready to go, and here we are. So, after another crazy incident, after another crazy incident involving the leaders again, but it resulted in a session where things went perfectly well for specific drivers. But in the end, when it came with Singapore, we had another new winner in Season 7, but now we are here for short qualifying for Round 16 of the RPL F1 Season 7 season. We are at the Suzuka Circuit, and this is Japan. Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen. I am Titan Ironwolf here, and here we go for a full grid of 20 drivers involved for today's event. Last week, the race was in Singapore, as I mentioned. The winner of the race was Maxwell. The Chiller wound up getting second place, and Boss Cookie wound up finishing in third. In the Drivers' Championship, Scyther's championship lead drops down a bit, but stays firm at 61 points ahead of the Chiller. And Cryptic now inherits P3 with 125. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes only gained 1 point on Red Bull, to putting them 50 points behind. And Ferrari wound up getting 2 points on Mercedes, as they are 22 points behind with 299. Mercedes and Red Bull, by the way, 371 to 321. So, this is different. This is a different set of qualifying, which means the stream's going to be slightly shorter today. This is short qualifying. The reason why it was short qualifying was because the real-life F1 sprint, which happened in Brazil, just wrapped up about 15-20 minutes ago, with George Russell winning that race. So big congratulations to George. Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton were the top three, although Carlos Sainz will be facing a 5-place grid drop in tomorrow's main race, and Lewis Hamilton could be in trouble for a starting grid infringement. But anyways, that is the real life F1 race. This is today here in RPL. So let's take a look at everyone that is here. So we have the Chiller and the Red Bull leading the charge with a 29.6. We have Reese in the Mercedes, just being bested by the Chiller's teammate Cryptic. Those two separated by 5 milliseconds, with Cryptic on top for P2. Ferrari TB is in the Ferrari, back again after missing 3-4 races after moving to a new location. So, after almost a month away from RPL racing, TB is back in the car. Jack Miles is in the McLaren. He's in P5. Redfire Tiger Alpine P6. JDM Haters, first time back in the racing in the Alpine Academy. He is in McLaren, as Beatnik just took his P7 spot. Beatnik, by the way, winner of Monza 2 weeks ago. A good showing in F1 in Singapore last week. You say yes, he did have a good result. P8. Scyther in the Aston Martin. Yeah, you heard it right. Scyther is back in racing, but he's not in Mercedes. But he is racing in Aston Martin, so anything could happen. Let's see how much of a chunk the Chiller can take out of the championship standings. We have Tadpole and Owen in the Alpha Tauris. Good to see them again. Fanflow aka Philodent, main driver in Ferrari Academy, reserving for Williams tonight. That should be interesting to see the least. Jacob was again involved in an incident last week in Singapore, this time involving Reese. He did receive a slam dunk penalty for that incident, but he's in Alfa Romeo, so we'll see what happens this time about. Globetrotter. Don't know much about this guy, but he's in Alpine. I think this is the second time I've seen Globetrotter appear. But anyways, Boss Cookie, who I mentioned last week, returned back to RPL Racing after a long period away. He is in the Mercedes. This is only his second outing in the Mercedes car, and last week in his return, finished P3. Zakaria in Haas, getting some warm-up time in the car before departing for AlphaTauri next season. So we'll see how Zakaria does in this car. Maxwell, last week's winner. He's back again in that Ferrari car, and hopefully maybe he might go for 2 in a row. Zora and Boba Kett in the other Haas and the other Aston Martin, they have not set a lap time, so they'll be towards the back of the field. And last but not least, Wavy in the final spot with Williams is just chilling away after a slight incident beforehand. But anyways, so we had the Chiller fastest still with that 29.6. TB only 3/10 behind with that 29.9. As we're actually going to go on board with TB as he makes his way into the treacherous first sector, which is the S's. Turn 1. Now make his way through 2, 3, 4. Along that curve. Now 5. He comes into the Dunlop curve of turns 6 and 7. Now into Degner for turn 8. Now this is one corner that is noted in the event notes. You cannot extend your track limits in there, or else you'll be facing some penalties. Now into the hairpin of turn 11. Now just a fast, long sweeping right-hander at turn 12. He makes his slight descent down, up again, and into Spoon for 13 and 14. The exit to Spoon, turn 14, is another area where you can extend, but you are not allowed to. Stewards are going to be taking a look at that. TB, not bad on the exit there. Now heading to his 130R, the fastest and tricky, one of the fastest corners in the F1 circuit, and he nails it pretty good, gets a little up on the curb, now into the Casio Triangle. 16 and 17. Now out of final corner of 18. Little slip. Gets under that DRS. Rides along that wall. And he goes fastest. 29.5. So despite that little hiccup on the rear out of final corner, TB fastest overall with 6 minutes left to go in the short qualifying session. When I mentioned earlier about with Maxwell winning, last week in Singapore, he is the 6th different RPL F1 winner. And as we will go along with it, from round 1 to round 6, which include the sprint. For round 3 at Imola. All those races were won by Scyther. Round 7 in Canada was TB. Scyther went back into victory form for round 8, 9, and 10 until round 11 in France when Joseph Loki won to become the 3rd different winner. Very next round, after a controversial collision on the final lap, Beatnik claimed his first win. Round 12 in Belgium. Round 13, the Netherlands. Jacob filling in for TB, claimed his first win. That's the 5th different RPL winner. Beatnik won again in Monza after Jacob and DeChiller had a collision. And then Maxwell, the latest winner, winning Singapore as mentioned beforehand. Now here's this piece. Who do I think is going to get top 10? Not top 10. Top 3 of this group, as Cryptic actually went fastest now with that 29-1. So the Red Bull with these S's is really working forward for the Red Bull team. Anyways, who do I think will be top 3? Well, I think in no particular order. Cryptic and TB, they're going to be the top 2. But as who I think is going to be third, I think it's going to be a toss-up between Reese and Maxwell. Because I think those two should have enough to possibly unseat DeChiller for third place. DeChiller out of the top 3. I think they'll have enough. Let's see, where's Owen right now? Okay, there's Owen. It's P14, heading to 130R. See how fast he is. Okay, about half a second up, so that will probably put him right around P12. Because he does pretty good in Sector 3. He could snag his way into the top 10. And here he comes. Across the line. P12. I'm with Jack as Fanflo, as Zakaria, who is on a slowdown. And that lap. Waits for the faster cars to go past. Just under 2.5 minutes to go. There's Reese. Oh, there he is. About to start his flying lap now. We're on with Jack as Haters, his teammate, moves out of the way. Let's see what Jack is capable of on this lap. He's the only one ahead of this small group that's starting a flying lap. Jacob, who's in 130R now, he's on that lap, and same with either Red Fire or Globetrotter. They're about to start their lap. They're coming out of the final corner. And it is Globetrotter that's going to start. So, Jack is working that wheel. So he comes out of the final corner. It looked like he almost touched the grass slightly, but good enough for P5. Looks like Owens had a malfunction in the Casio triangle. Cryptic is starting his next lap. Well, looks like Reese had an invalidation, probably out of the spoon corner. But more and more people about to start their next set of laps. And it looks like Owen has gone into the pits. He is out. He's done. So Owen, at the moment, P12. But we'll see what happens as we move forward. As Reese about to kick on his final lap. Maxwell next to Cross will begin his lap. The question is, will Beatnik make it in time to start a final lap? Can he make it? Yes, he will. Well, looks like Globetrotter is going to be the first to cross the line, and he stays P18. Jacob, he'll be next to cross the line. Puts it second place. What a run by the Alfa Romeo driver. Next up, the two McLarens Well, Haters and Jack are coming in. They're gonna stay where they are. P6 and P6 and P13 respectively. So what a shocking move by Jacob. He's in, and Zakaria goes P15. And Tadpole goes spinning. Just catch that in time. Cookie the Chiller goes into the pits. Red Fire stays in 8th place. Scyther puts a P12. Who's next? Looks like the Williams. Fanflow takes 15th. Wavy into the pits. Can TB answer? He retakes 2nd place. What about Reese? P4. Looks like Maxwell is probably going to be the only one to answer. Can he do it? He does. By 0.06 of a second, Maxwell claims pole position from Cryptic. Wow. So there is the top 3 as predicted. Cryptic, TB, and I did say either Reese or Maxwell will unseat the Chiller off from where he was P3 a few minutes prior. And Maxwell does do that. Pole position. So Ferrari won 3 after the short qualifying session. Well, Red Fire got a penalty? What did he do? Oh, he smacked into Fanflow, apparently. So Cookie will be P8, Tadpole P9, Beatnik P10, Scyther will be P11, Owen P12, and Red Fire, a nice P8 for him, but he'll start P13. Rip. And apparently, just reading the Discord chat, apparently Fanflow hit Red Fire, and Red Fire got the penalty instead. Well, that's unfortunate. Anyways, we're ready to go for this race. And we are about ready to start it up. And, well, let's take a look at the tires everyone's on. Well, Jack and Tadpole gambling with hards. Everyone else is on the medium tires. So this should be interesting. So the stopwatch is out. We'll be ready to kick off. The 5 lights come on to start the Japanese Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go. The Chiller drive-through penalty for jumping a start. Well, that's not good. So that just basically almost ruins his race right at the gate. And he goes out and Zakaria has crashed. Beatnik involved, and a VSC deployed. What the heck happened towards the back? Well, we didn't even get to We didn't even get to turn 3 before the VSC got deployed. And the Chiller already a drive-through penalty for jumping the start, and Zakaria out already. I'd love to know what happened. Oh, whoa! What the heck happened there? Looks like a collision between the 2 Ferraris, which left Maxwell falling behind in 3rd. guess because of, I'm guessing the VSC Delta screwy, to say the least, but we're backing away, and that screwiness with the VSC Delta, as Maxwell is going to be making that tag down the inside into the triangle, and a bump, contact and bumping 3 wide between the two Ferraris and Cookie. Cookie takes complete advantage, jumps up into second place. Jacob into the pits. The children of the pits to serve as penalty. So is Globetrotter. Globetrotter's in too, and Maxwell came out worse of it, falling to P6. As Jack and Reese overtook Maxwell for it, as Jacob comes back out onto a new set of mediums, and it looks like Maxwell spun in the Dunlop curve. But did he reset? Maybe, I don't know. I couldn't tell, but there he goes again, and he takes Zora with him. Zora and Maxwell go spinning out. Globetrotter has crashed in turn 2. That is another VSC. So 2 VSCs. Globetrotter crashing in turn 2, and Maxwell came out bad at the triangle from that literally had issues, got messed up in the hairpin, got messed about out of the triangle with a 3 wide fight when spinning in Dunlop, and then again out of Danger, and had a Hosco with him. It looks like Cookie is in the pits, and he's got a speeding penalty. That is unfortunate. While he's replacing the wing and getting onto a set of hard compound tires, which should last him the rest of the race. And that will put Cryptic back in the lead. This will put Cryptic still in the lead. TB will take second place. Jack will be sitting in third. Reese is in 4. Redfire 5. And check this out. Fanflo. He started P15, and he's up in the P6 now. So Fanflo, in the bad car, is actually doing nicely. Oh, almost collision between Reese and Redfire. Almost took Fanflo with it. And Zora just got a drive-through for speeding under the VSC, and Owen overtaking Tadpole for P7, and Scyther decides to follow suit. Oh boy, we got trouble. A full 360 by Tadpole. He's still going. Oh my. Was there? I think there might have been a slight contact between Scyther and Tadpole, or maybe Tadpole had a slip, but nice save with that 360. Anyways, Beatnik overtaking P11 from Boba. So Owen P7, Scyther P8, Hater sitting in P9, and Wavy is in P10. So both Williams cars are sitting in the top 10. Oh, this is quite the interesting spectacle, to say the least. And speaking of spectacles, Cryptic 4 seconds clear of TB. TB can somehow reel him in and try to go for a win. This will be TB's second RPL win, F1 win. Not only in this, pretty much in season 7, because he did win prior. Cryptic has not won yet. And Cryptic is actually trying to catch my breath and wording on this. But Cryptic, in regards to this circuit, Cryptic is the defending track champion. He won this track last season. let's go on board. We're going to be on board with Red Fire right now. It looks like Zora having some problems in turn 12, by the way. But Red Fire just watching Reese as he is pretty close to Jack. I wonder if he'll try to make an overtake into turn number 1. And Cryptic, by the way, just put in the fastest lap of the event. Let's move forward up to Reese, by the way. He's got DRS, so does Jack, by the way. Jack does have DRS on TV, but not by much. I mean, he's literally just under a second behind. I mean, literally that DRS zone on the main straight is the only DRS zone in this game, on this track. Let's take a look at the biggest shakers and losers of this event. Currently, with the collisions that happened earlier, Maxwell and Jacob are the two biggest losers right now, as Scyther just joins the track limit penalty club. Jacob losing 14 spots from that opening lap collision, and Maxwell losing 11 because of a couple spins. And currently the Chiller is the third worst, losing 8 because of that drive-through penalty. But currently the biggest movers, currently it is Red Fire, it is Fanflow with 9 positions gained, Red Fire with 8 positions gained, and Boba, who started dead last, is up in the P13. He gained 7. And speaking of which, Reese making a move on Jack. Makes it nice and easy. And it looks like Red Fire wants the same... Whoa, he's going to go for both. Oh! Little contact between Reese and Red Fire. I think Red Fire turned slightly early. A little tap with Reese. But the two are still okay and good, still going. Red Fire... Wait a minute. Is Red Fire really on... Yeah, he is. I did not know that. Red Fire started on the soft tires. I didn't see that. When I looked just before the lights came on, I thought he was on mediums. I guess this game... Well, I guess another thing's glitched. Oh, well. Anyways. Next battle. Looks like Owen wants to sneak a peek on Fanflow. Trying to sneak a move to go for 6th place, and so far unable to do so at this point. You know, it'd be really nuts. I mean, I know Owen. He loves to show off a little bit, love to have some fun. I'm willing to bet he might make an attack in one, maybe before right after 130R, or maybe before it. But let's see what happens. He might make a move right here. Let's see how Fanflow reacts. Oh, and yes, he does. He's making a move into the triangle, and he does it with complete ease. But Fanflow wants to fight him back. And he does have DRS. This is gonna get good. And Fanflow retakes the position against Owen. Takes P6, but Owen wants to fight again. They're side by side into the yeses. And Fanflow lets him by. I think Fanflow's going like, you know, I'm in a good position. I want to keep it this way. I don't want to chance it by doing something stupid. Oh, never mind. Never mind. As I see it, he spins out in Dunlop and kills it. And that sparks another VSC. So that is really unfortunate. I'm probably guessing Fanflow probably turned a little too sharply, caught that curb in the Dunlop, and just lost it. Oh, Lord. wonder how this will fare. He's on the hard tires, so he'll last the rest of the race. And Fanflo is in to replace that destroy wing. Now, Redfire will come out P10, but he's gonna have some work to do, as he's got some ground to catch up against some of the other drivers. About 11 seconds from the P10 spot, which is inherited by Maxwell, who's got Wavy Knife in the Williams to worry about. We're on board with Maxwell. Like I said before, last week's winner. Currently, at this present time, his RPL F1 future hangs in the balance as right now, Maxwell does not have a drive for next season. Because the Ferrari team principal just announced a couple days last week, Jacob will be taking his spot at Ferrari to partner TB. There's only 2 spots open in RPL F1, being Haas and Aston Martin. And look at this. Maxwell, extremely brave, goes wide. I think he's gonna have to get that place back. He went wide and off the track, out of 130R, and he knows it, so he gives the position back to Wavy, and looks like they're fighting again this time down the main straight. This is a fight for P9, and Maxwell reclaims that P9 spot. Good smart move on Maxwell. I mean, he gambled a very risky overtake in 130R, went wide, complete the overtake, but he knew he had to get that place back. And he did so. Maxwell did the right thing there. But anyways, back towards the front group. It's quite spaced out. Cryptic 4.8 seconds clear of TB, and TB almost 5.5 seconds clear of Reese, who's in P3. And Jack in the McLaren is actually losing some ground to Reese. 1.6 seconds, and that gap is not going much of anywhere. In fact, slightly increasing Reese to Jack. But looks like some of our next closest fights will be happening nearby. Well, we have one, by the way, that we're going to be taking a look at. That's the Chiller, looking to sneak an outside attack on Boba. Can't do it. Beatnik's in the pits. Now, Chiller's going to have to do some recovery here, especially because he jumped the start and had to start that drive-through penalty. He is sitting in 13th place, and at the moment, compared to where they are, Scyther will be gaining 8 points on the Chiller, as the Chiller does take 11th from Boba, and Beatnik, by the way, onto the hard compound tires. Now, Beatnik, one of the first medium runners to go onto the hard compound tire, and he is one of the first medium runners that wasn't affected by it, and there goes Boba into a 10-pole 360 in the S's, right at the end of the S's, and he is okay. And he just spins out again. So Boba, just like with Tadpole, going for a spin. Just going for a wild 360 spin. You know this, haters, by the way, who we're on board with now, trying to reel in. He's trying to reel in Scyther RS range, but unfortunately, he is not able to. It looks like Fatflow has spun in the hairpin, and Haters is actually in the pits, and Speed's in the pits. So Haters becomes the third person to Speed in the pits. Now Wavy is in now. Wavy has actually been doing decently okay. Was hanging out in the top 10. It looks like he's gonna come out just behind Beatnik. As Beatnik comes out, he will take P12, but he's got haters directly in front of him. And Boss Cookie, who went in after the first VSC, is back into the points in P10. So for those that are just joining us, this is RPL F1 Season 7 Round 16 in Japan. If you are subscribed to the RPL YouTube channel, or a fan, a follower of the RPL Twitch, you want to catch any of the highlights of this event, just press the red button. You can catch any of the highlights that you may have missed in this event. Anyways, Zakaria crashed in turn number 1 after a collision under unknown circumstances. Globetrotter crashed in turn 2, back on lap 6, and looks like we're entering lap number 11 of 27 of this event, and right now Zora is at risk of going a lap down. Now, very unfortunately, Zora, by the way, as I want to mention him, he has a very unfortunate RPL record on him. He is the quickest driver to get lapped in an RPL F1 race. That record being 3.6 laps at Singapore last week. He lasted 3.6 laps before getting lapped. That is, like I said, a new RPL F1 record. I mean, literally, the previous record was about 5.5 laps done by the man, the myth, the legend, Leon Miner. So, Leon, if you're watching and you're listening to this, get that record back, man. If you're allowed to race again, get that record back. But anyways, fun little banter and bashing aside. Haters is now in the hunt against TB, so I guess Beatnik. Sorry. Beatnik has reclaimed 11th place, and Owen is now into the pits now, as we are nearing the halfway point of this event. Now, Owen came into the pits P6. Let's see where he will be once he comes out. Looks like he'll come out. He's going to come out right behind Boss Cookie in 10th place. So, Owen looking at about roughly 4 or 5 second lead over Beatnik and Haters, who are actually fighting. And Boba's into the pits, speeding again. That's our 4th driver that's sped in the pits. Cookie sped, Haters sped, Boba now, and Globetrotter. No, not Globetrotter. Someone else spun, and they served that penalty already. But those are the guys that have sped already. And Zora has now gone effectively a lap down, as he has been passed by TB. Zora got DRS from TB. But anyways, now we got a fight here between Maxwell and Scyther. Now Scyther is in the penalty box club for track limits, and Maxwell, with ease, puts himself into P5. Now, let's take a look here. Oh, man, this game really does trick you. Because from the start, there's only 2 guys left on the mediums that have yet to pit. That being TB and Cryptic. Maxwell, Scyther, Jack, Reese, and TB, they're on hards, but for some weird reason earlier I said only 2 were on the soft, or on the mediums. 2 were on the hards and the rest were on mediums, but I guess you can't trust it at the start because it said Red Fire was starting to race on mediums, he was on softs. So you literally can't trust anybody, to say the least. And speaking of which, the leader is in. Cryptic is in. So Cryptic is in, going to the hard compound, and TB will inherit the lead. Here comes Reese now to pass by for second. Jack passing by for third. And looks like Cryptic will be, oh boy, not in a good position he wants to be. He's got Scyther to deal with, just ahead for P5. So Cryptic, probably in his case, he wants to get past Scyther as quickly as possible. But those hard tires are gonna have to warm up. Meanwhile, Red Fire who pitted earlier, was the only soft tire. He's in P8. He's going up against the Chiller. Now the Chiller still recovering. What the heck? Well, looks like Wavy had a problem, but the weird thing was that when Wavy spun in turn 1, literally Sector 1 didn't have an issue, and Haters has a problem. Right in the bridge. Right under the bridge. But anyways, when Wavy spun in turn 1, literally from the end of Sector 1 to where Wavy was, it was clear, but the rest of the track as a whole went yellow flag. Anyways, Jack is in the pits now. The first hard tire runner, now going on to the mediums. There comes Red Fire as the Chiller heads in. Now Red Fire will be happy with the DRS. He's got Cookie right behind, so that will help. And it looks like Wavy has crashed in turn 14, and we have a safety car. Now that safety car will actually be majorly beneficial for TB. If TB 15 seconds clear of Reese, so TB in a sense earned a free pit stop. There, he's got the lap car of Boba behind him. So Boba and Zora are a lap down. So this will help TB out as he will come into the pits to get that free stop. Now this will give Boba his lap back. Zora will be able to, nope, he's in the pits and sped for speeding. And yeah, that'll do it. And hard to believe. Yeah, so here we go. So Zora will be right behind TB. A lap down. Axel will take third. Cryptic will be in fourth. Oh, never mind. Jack will take it. Jack will take fourth. So Jack will have some advantage. Meanwhile, we just have to wait for everybody else. wonder who else will be. Oh, looks like Haters will be staying out. Haters has stayed out, so he'll claim P10. Yeah, looks like everybody else is set. So here is your grid for right now. It is TB, Reese, and Maxwell, your top 3. You have Jack, P4. Then the rest of your top 10, it is Cryptic, Scyther, Redfire, Haters, Boss, Cookie, and Owen. But bear in mind, Cryptic, 5 seconds. Hey, Cryptic, what do you get the 5-second penalty for? What do you do? Let's take a look. Let's see. Speaking in the pits, we knew that. Speaking in the pits. Ah, Cryptic spin the pits when he came in. Okay, so Cryptic, 5 seconds for speeding in the pits. Same with Haters and Zora. They spin the pits too. And Boss Cookie did have that too, but he served it. And Scyther, same with the Chiller, by the way, he served his. But Scyther, track limit warning, track limit penalty, that's what he got. Anyways, after the top 10, the rest of the grid, it is Beatnik in 11th, the Chiller in 12th, Tadpole 13th, Fanflow, who was doing decently good in the points, crashed in Dunlop, is in 14th. Jacob won a bit of a race to forget. He's in 15th. Boba's in 16th. Just got back on the lead lap. And Zora is in 17th. 1 lap down. And this, now with Zora where he is, this will be beneficial. This is another thing that will benefit TB. Because when Zora pitted, he stayed ahead of Reese. So Reese, when the green comes back out, Reese will have Zora to get past before he can think about making a move on TB. Hang out another lap. We'll be going back to green right after this. We're going back to green pretty shortly. on the safety car to go through. Once we will be going back to green, we'll have 8 laps left of this event. And well, Zora, who was right behind TB, is now at the back of the field, a lap down. He's spun out and wrecked. So now that will put Reese right up, back up again against TB, but Maxwell is there too. Oh, hell. Did not see that. Reese on the soft tires. Oh, no. This is gonna be interesting. Let's see how TV will handle against this. Anyways. TB opting when to go. He's off. We're backing away in Japan. And Maxwell pulling the power down. He's got to try to get past ahead of Reese to hinder him down. I think he might have it. Close enough. Ooh, boy, pretty tight between these two. Maxwell going up against Reese for second place. Maxwell gets ahead. Reese slight bog down on the restart, and Maxwell took full advantage and got second place. What a move by Maxwell. Maxwell really put the power down and got clear of Reese, and meanwhile, Haters gets past Owen in danger and takes a 9th place. But nope, here comes Owen again, fighting him back. Haters putting on some good pressure to keep him back. This is gonna get tight. Clearly, these two are really close together. Chiller as well against Beatnik for P11, and Owen around the outside shuts Haters into his place. Meanwhile, Chiller looking to make an attack too, but here comes Haters again. Looking to move this up in 130 yard and make contact. Bump between Haters and Owen, and Beatnik decides to say hello. I'll take advantage of the break, and I'll try to get past. But Beatnik has the door slammed on him by the Chiller. The Chiller really would love to get back into the points and try to at least recoup a couple points lost against Scyther, because Scyther right now is still looking to gain, well, would be 8 points, but don't forget that 3-second penalty is still in effect as Boba goes spinning in turn number 4. But anyways, Scyther with that 3-second penalty, he'll fall to P8, and the Chiller will get promoted up to P10, which means Scyther will only gain 3 points. Who has the fastest lap? Well, that's Maxwell. Maxwell has the fastest lap. Meanwhile, oh Lord, there goes Scyther. We just caught that in time. I think I saw a little lag spike. I had to double check when I rewatched the stream, but I think there was a lag spike somewhere, and Scyther goes spinning out of control. Well, that's incredibly unfortunate there. Scyther now knocked out of the points, DRS enabled, and now Maxwell is right with TV. It is a Ferrari 1-2, and Reese is slipping behind. The Chiller overtaking Owen for P8. And Cookie, by the way, in the 6th place now. And oh, there goes Haters, spinning out in turn number 1. And that will put Beatnik into the points with his teammate Jacob right behind. Beatnik probably wouldn't mind at least a point. But we'll see what the teammate will have to do in this sense. But Boba is just, I'm not sure what Boba is doing now. But he is spun out again in turn 6. So we're on with him in the Dunlop. It looks like nothing so far, but anyways, it is Ferrari 1-2, TB and Maxwell leading the charge. Reese is actually back right about in DRS range now against Maxwell. Let's see what will happen as we move forward. Boba just got a 10-second corner cut penalty. I think he cut the hairpin. DRS is on. Not sure what Boba's doing. He's just horsing around. In a sense. But anyways, TB still maintaining the lead. Reese is now out of DRS range. Cryptic is in 4th, but Cryptic does have that 5-second penalty, which at the moment will dump him to P6. Jack will take P4 and Cookie will take P5. And Haters into the pits. He has left the session. He is out. Meanwhile, Jacob battling Red Fire as they head to the hairpin. Jacob brave on the brakes in the hairpin. I mean, literally, he was involved in the lap 1 altercation, and now he is in the lead. He's in 9th place now. Boba has crashed in turn 1, but no safety car deployed. Now the problem is with the track pretty much yellow all the way around except for sector 1. Beatnik just overtook Red Fire, and the game's probably got to tell him to get the place back because he illegally overtook. But that's just the game being stupid as Jack and Cryptic, Jack and Reese get passed by Cookie and Cryptic. Cryptic into the top 3, but it's not going to last for long because he has to get a 5-second gap over the guys ahead. And at the moment, he's still going to be in P6 because he is right now 4.3 seconds clear of Jack. He's got at least another 7/10 to go in order to stay in P5 to be P5 and to Chiller into the penalty box for track limits. But he is clear enough of Owen to keep his P7 for right now. At the moment, it is Ferrari 1-2. It is a Ferrari 1-2. Cryptic is starting to slightly gain ground on Maxwell. Reese trying to keep in tow with Cryptic, who, by the way, has now effectively cleared Jack to be dumped to P5. But Cryptic is going to have to pull another 1.5 second lead over Cookie in order to stay in P4. But stupid thing. Really, the audio cuts off at the worst time. But anyways, Jacob had an incident in turn 1 with Owen. Unknown reason why. Beatnik took advantage by getting past Jacob and wanted to get past Owen, but Owen shut the door on it. And now Maxwell into the penalty box. Oh my goodness. Maxwell into the penalty. Getting a track limit warning. That is not what he wants. Now he has to clear Reese by 2/10 in order to keep third place. In order to keep second place. Reese could be looking at a P2. With 2 laps to go, TB is... And he does get past. Maxwell takes the lead, but TB will be inherently the winner. But now Maxwell just has to clear Reese in order to stay in the second place, which at this moment he is going to just barely. And with only 2 to go, Maxwell and TB are gonna have to stay out of trouble, and Reese is gonna have to just claw in to get something. At this present moment, Cryptic, with that 5-second penalty, will be throwing the P5. He's still 3.5 seconds clear of Boss Cookie, but unfortunately, it's not going to help much. Meanwhile, towards the back of the points, it's now a 5-way fight with Owen, Beatnik, Tadpole, Jacob, and Scyther. We're on board with Jacob as he's in the middle of this train as the Ferraris enter the triangle, and this is going to start the final lap of the Japanese Grand Prix event. Now Maxwell is about 5 seconds clear of Reese, so he will be fine. The question is Cryptic is not close enough for an attack. Anyways, it looks like Tadpole has 11th. That is unfortunate. Beatnik was seeking a move on Owen, but couldn't do it. He goes spinning, no! The rear chokes on Beatnik. That is extremely unfortunate. Beatnik was looking for P9, but it goes south because of the rear going. Oh man, hard break for Beatnik. That is very unfortunate, but anyways, the Mercedes are fighting now. Boss and Reese. That is for P4. The Chiller want to say hello to looking for a spot. But unfortunately, the Chiller, who's P6, he'll lose that to Jack. And meanwhile, as they come out of 130R for the final time, Maxwell will come across to cross the line in first. But this man, TB, return back to RPL from moving. TB claims victory in Japan. Maxwell will claim second place. Boss Cookie, by 0.5 of a second, steals P3 from Cryptic. Reese will be P5, Jack P6, the Chiller P7, Owen P8, Jacob P9, and Scyther will wrap up in P10. A fastest lap, I believe, has gone to Maxwell, so maximum points for Ferrari. And the Chiller, by the way, has gained 5 points on Scyther. And with the victory done by Ferrari, they are within striking distance of Mercedes for second place in the Constructors. I believe unofficially they are, I think, be either 2 or 4 points behind. But there it is. TB returning back to RPL after moving to a new location, his first race back, and he claims his second win of Season 7. Way to go, TB there. And Maxwell, way to go to get second place and keep in that second place. A Ferrari 1-2. I don't even know the last time where we had a last Ferrari 1-2 victory. And Cookie, despite incidents before, same like Maxwell, third place. Not bad for Cookie there. So there it is. TB and Maxwell, Ferrari 1-2 in Japan. Boss Cookie in third place. Cryptic, the defending track champion, will settle for fourth. Reese is fifth. Jack 6th. The Chiller P7. Owen 8th. Jacob 9th. And Scyther will finish in 10th place. So that will conclude the stream for today. But the action will continue. We'll continue on for next week. So, kicking it off for RPL streams, here we go. So, season for Tier 2, Friday, they will be starting round 8 in Mexico City. And then next week, F2 will be having round 7 in Belgium. And then, well, we go across for F1, we go across the Pacific Ocean as the F1 drivers will be entering Circuit of the Americas. So, from RPL Streams, this is Ty and Ironwolf saying good night and have a good one.